Steve, thank you. The election results are in. Judge Susan Crawford beat out Judge Brad Schimmel for the open seat on the state Supreme Court. It's a race that received national attention, and it keeps the court under a 4-3 liberal majority. This is a breakdown you're about to see of how each county in our state voted in this race. Not sure if we've got it. There it is. So the purple dots are for Crawford, orange for Schimmel. The size of the dot relates to the number of ballots cast. Schimmel's biggest win is in Waukesha County, while Crawford carried Dane and Milwaukee counties and is currently leading in Brown, Outagamie, and Winnebago. Chief political reporter Jason Zimmerman brings reaction from campaign watch parties.
A huge victory for Dane County Judge Susan Crawford Tuesday night as she's elected to the state Supreme Court, allowing liberals to maintain a one-seat majority. Her supporters erupting with joy in downtown Madison.
To the people of Wisconsin, thank you.
For Democrats, the outcome was also a win over billionaire Elon Musk, who spent millions of dollars supporting Crawford's opponent.
But I've got to tell you, as a little girl growing up in Chippewa Falls, I never could have imagined that I'd be taking on the richest man in the world. For justice in Wisconsin. And we won.
Over in Waukesha County, Judge Brad Schimmel saying he called Crawford to concede.
You got to accept the results. Just don't. Yeah, right. I'm not up here making any joke. This is the numbers aren't gonna turn around. They're too bad, and we're not gonna pull this off.
Crawford also taking time to honor retiring Justice Ann Walsh Bradley.
You leave an incredible legacy of service to our state, and you are the embodiment of fairness and integrity, and I'll try to make you proud.
All of the other liberal justices on the court attending Crawford's watch party. She will take the oath of office in early August. Reporting in Madison, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.